Hey there, people of the fog. So it's been a little while since I've done a video. So I've completely watched all of seasons 1 through 3 of Stranger Things because I know that we're getting a DLC for Dead by Daylight. I didn't want to cover too much about the whole DLC because I know a lot of you guys were gonna already get the announcement. Even before myself, that video for Dead by Daylight has already garnered like 5 million views, I think, for the trailer for the Stranger Things DLC. So I've been putting off Stranger Things for quite a while. It was only until the DLC was coming out that I felt like I was forced to have to watch it so I could understand the characters better, as well as what the Demogorgon was kind of was, because I didn't really quite understand what the monster was and how it was in relation to the whole show. Even though in season 1 that's really the only appearance the Demogorgon makes, other than the well, I don't want to spoil too much for season 3, but I'm going to try to make this as not so spoily spoiler as possible because I know many of you guys are still in the process of watching the show. I mean, to play it safe, don't even watch this video until you guys have probably watched all of these seasons to get you caught up to speed. But so I'm just gonna go over my analysis of what I thought about the show and basically put that into the DLC and the characters that were chosen for the DLC, like Steve and Nancy coming, and my thoughts and opinions on that. So, yeah, it's just going to be a thoughts and opinions on the DLC, what I think about it, and the thoughts and opinions I had for the overall show. So, yeah, let's go ahead and get into this. All right, so let's go ahead and just get the cons out of the way as to why I put this show off for so long. I have just a few gripes with the show. I think, in my opinion, it tries a little too hard to capture the 80s atmosphere. And being a person of the 80s or loves the 80s, I mean, I listen to a variety of music that was, around for the 80s, like dark wave, death rock, synth pop, new wave. Um, Post-punk, just all those kind of genres, and I listen to them a lot. I'm pretty sure that those who are from my Discord that are watching this video right now, you see that I post some indie bands that kind of replicate that kind of genre of music. So being a person that is kind of heavily involved in the music scene of the 80s, I feel like they used a little too much of the 80s. When I think back then, people of that era, of that time, listened to a variety of different music from between the 60s and 70s, so I didn't really see a whole lot of that music kind of in there. Um, but yeah, and then a lot of the characters I felt like in Stranger Things, as far as the female characters go, I felt like they were a little too forgettable, other than Elle and Robin. Um, the rest of them, I don't really care for their story arc because it's just maybe because it doesn't relate to me as much. I find that in a lot of movies nowadays, a lot of female protagonists don't really have that strong of a background for people to really enjoy the characters, and so they become very forgettable. This is a personal opinion, but an example would be Rey from Star Wars, the new Disney Star Wars movies. I don't feel like her character is all that strong compared to past Star Wars characters. That's just one example. Aside from those gripes, I did very much enjoy the show. It just felt like, for the most part, I wasn't really on the edge of my seat. Only because it felt like most of the characters kind of felt like they had plot armor throughout the whole entirety of the show, because you always had Elle around to basically just save their asses constantly, until you get to about season 3, then it kind of gets a little intense. But I will say the one thing that I really liked at the end of season 3, I'm not going to spoil it too much, I'm going to kind of mask what it is. I really like the ending to season 3 with the whole Memento Mori sort of note towards the end. I'm not going to say any more other than that. I thought that was a pretty powerful scene. I really enjoyed that scene between the characters and all that. So that was probably the best out of the show for me that I really enjoyed. So yeah, now let's go ahead and talk about in relations to the DLC now coming out. So this isn't probably my most anticipated DLCs, but I still look forward to the DLC regardless, because come on guys, it's Dead by Daylight. I mean, any DLC that comes out for the game is always pretty fun. So I can't really quite figure out why they use Steve and Nancy per se, because they weren't really a thing other than season 1 within the first few chapters, honestly. It feels very out of place to me to have both characters side by side together in Dead by Daylight, but I get it, they're limited on characters, there's not really a whole lot they can do as far as I guess a pairing of two survivors. You know, I kind of thought that maybe they should have used Jonathan instead of Steve, but I get it. A lot of people like Steve more than Jonathan, but obviously Jonathan was more involved around Nancy than Steve was, and so that's why I think he was probably the better candidate. But I get that he also doesn't really have many cosmetics because he kind of just dressed the same for the most part throughout each episode throughout the show. So maybe they could have used Hopper and Steve. I don't really know. Like I said, it's kind of a tough decision, but I get why Behavior chose the characters that they did because they're a little limited, and I get it. They can't really use children because it's kind of a little brutal to have them being put on hooks. So I don't know. I still look forward to it. I kind of do want to get the Scoops Ahoy cosmetic. That is kind of funny. I didn't even know what that cosmetic was because I hadn't seen season 3 yet, and I was like, "What is up with this whole Scoops Ahoy thing?" I saw Polyester like talking about it a lot and making jokes and memes on his Discord about it, and I was completely lost. I didn't know what the fuck was going on until, again, watched season 3. I was like, "Oh, that's why he's got the little uniform." Again, I'm not going to spoil it as to why he has the uniform, but it's kind of funny. I actually probably enjoyed Steve's character the most, I would say, within season 3, because he wasn't really relevant in the show until the ending of season 2, and then going into season 3, definitely. I really enjoyed Robin and Steve's character within season 3 the most. I think if maybe they used Robin and Steve as a sort of character duo for the game, I think that would have been a lot better, but I get it. Robin doesn't really have a whole lot of story arc there. She's just barely was introduced into season 3. But that would probably be the two characters that I would have chose, though. So my favorite character from Stranger Things is probably got to be Billy. I know many of you people are probably like, why is an asshole? Well, I'm going to explain as to why. So there is going to be a little bit of a minor spoiler in this, so if you don't want to hear any more, then I would completely understand your choice, and you can go definitely click off this video until you watch the rest of season 2 and 3, but this is the only way that I can explain him as to why I have a relation to his character. So he gets controlled by the Mind Flayer in season 3, and Elle puts on a blindfold and manages to get into his memories. So his past memories is when he's a child on the beach. Looks like he's having fun, enjoying the beach, and his mom's also there. And he smiles back, and she smiles back at him. It looks like they're happy together and things like that. And then the next sequence of memories, it shows his father, his mom, and him. They look like they're in the dining room or something like that, and so his dad kind of looks like your typical Vietnam scarred sort of father. He may have been from the war, and that's why he acts the way that he does. Because I know a lot of fathers that come out of the war kind of act this way, or maybe it's just kind of over an exaggeration, maybe. But that's what we see in most movies: is the person that comes out of Vietnam acts kind of like a complete elite. So his dad completely, I think he like smacks his mom in the face. They kind of have an argument. He smacks her in the face. I think she falls to the floor and things like that. And so you can see now where Billy's character kind of comes from. He's kind of built up this anger because he's had it so much for his dad, and for the environment in which he lives in. And so relating that to how that relates to me is I even have my own toxicity within my own family. I'm not going to get into too much of details because that's personal shit, but I definitely have that sort of same thing going on within my own family. I haven't really grown up in the best family per se, but that's probably one of the major reasons why I enjoy Billy's character arc, and and then in the end, he still redeemed himself. But there's also another reason why I think Billy is probably the best character in the show. He's fucking hot, and that mullet. Am I right, ladies? My God. So overall, again, guys, I look forward to the DLC regardless because, come on, it's Dead by Daylight. I'll definitely be data mining the files, as you guys know I always do, seeing what kind of juicy bits are in there. I'll definitely be ripping both Steve, Nancy, and the Demogorgon and putting them on my VR chat avatar world if you guys ever want to just kind of play around with them and things like that. and then, you know, well, we were expecting PTB to come out today, and I was gonna try to do some of that today, but it looks like it never did come out. Today was our last chance, or our last hope, that PTB would be coming out this week, since we didn't get it this Tuesday. As today being Thursday, so it definitely looks like next Tuesday the DLC will definitely be dropping for PTB, so I look forward to it. And yeah, if you guys are interested, I'll also have the upcoming Survivors and the Demogorgon on my Mediafire account if you guys just want to play around with the models themselves. Um, I'll see what kind of cosmetics are going to be in the game as far as for older survivors and slashers. I'll try to see if I can put them into the old developer build if it doesn't crash on me. Again, I want to thank Michael Myers for this because he was the one that showed me how to do this. So again, credit goes to him in our Discord. So yeah, any questions, comments, feel free to leave any comment, guys. I'm always willing to listen to you guys and see what kind of questions that you may have or opinions, considering mine's pretty controversial because I know a lot of people like Stranger Things and I feel like I botched it. That wasn't my intention at all. I'm just giving my whole honest opinion of what I thought about the show and as to why I put it off for so long. So yeah, again, I'll still watch season 4 when it comes out, but it probably won't be for a little while until I try to get back into the show again. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the content, and I'll see you guys when PTB comes out. Peace out.